Hello TikTok, how are y'all doing today? I know I know y'all saw, what's trending on TikTok about the COVID vaccine and Dr. Fauci. I mean, all these old interviews of him popping up. One interview that looked like I think it was back from like the 1980s, early 90s maybe. I want to give y'all a refresher. Well, I'm going to go back to what he said first. He said in this old interview that you could spread HIV to people by putting it in vaccines. And he said, and then when people have sex with each other, then they continually spread the virus that way. That's what he said in this old interview. And I want to give you guys a refresher of the 80s and 90s. When I was coming up in the 80s and 90s, y'all know that was when I was a small kid in the 80s. But anyway, y'all know that the AIDS pandemic was basically what COVID was in 2019, 2020, 21. Back in the 80s and 90s, AIDS was like that. It was that bad. It was so many people who were infected. And when I started high school, middle school in the early 90s, I started hearing about. I had two older siblings, who they were, starting high school at this time. And at this time, there were people who were as young as 12, 13, 14, 15 years old who had contracted HIV. And this was kids that I went to school with. It was quite a few of them. It was like at one point, they were saying, and this made the news. At one point, they said this particular high school that was on my side of town had 11% of the children, 9th grade through 12th grade, were HIV positive. This was a black school, y'all. I want to tell you, this is what they did to our people, is they injected them with HIV. And in Africa, during the same time, it was 80s and 90s, they went over there. Our government went over there, acting like they was trying to help those people, vaccinating those folks and all, and they gave those people AIDS. They did. HIV AIDS. They did. Trying to kill off black folks. So they have done so much to our communities. But you know what ended up happening is during that time, there was quite a few white children who wound up getting infected with HIV they said through medical needles at that, through potentially they tried to say, oh, the needles that they used were not sanitary. But the thing is that how could it not be sanitary when it is normal practice for and in medical facilities, all medical facilities, even if it's rather it be nursing homes, halfway houses, or hospitals or doctor's offices, it is standard medical practice to throw away needles every time you use them. They are not meant to be ever reused. So I think that was a lie. I think that they, on purpose, injected people with HIV. And there was a lot of young children black, brown, and white children who were diagnosed with AIDS because of medical malpractice. Back in the 80s and 90s. You can look this up. It happened to a lot of people. So this is the people, the evil that we are dealing with this government, with these Edom, the children of Edom. I tell you, the evil, y'all, the evil. And I know y'all saw that video of Kamala Harris faking the like she took the COVID shot. And do y'all remember when COVID came out and a bunch of white people jumped up and took the COVID shot, and then they started the news media, and this was liberal news media at that, CNN in particularly, was complaining about the fact that black and brown people, Latinos and black folks, would not take the COVID shot. So what did they do? They grabbed Pastor Porkchop and had them black pastors, the coon pastors, to get up there and convince our people to take the COVID shot. They were even, lots of them went on TV and took the COVID shot personally in front of everybody to try to convince them to put that bullshit in their body. And that's how a lot of black and brown folks started taking the shot. But y'all, if y'all remember correctly, and when it first happened, they were saying that black and brown folks were not even getting the COVID. And the very first person to beat COVID was a black man in China. But anyway, after our people started jumping up and taking the COVID shot, that's when it spread like wildfire through our communities. Started taking out a lot of black and brown people after the fact. And there was situations where nurses had come out and said that the vaccines were tainted. And one nurse, she was throwing away COVID vaccines because she came out publicly about it, saying they're poisoning the people. As you know, now what's trending on TikTok is they're talking about COVID shots caused heart attacks, strokes, kidney failure. It caused sudden death. These were what they called, and this is what they said. They said they had these listed as minor side effects. These are major side effects, and the COVID vaccination should have never, ever been approved. And if we're going to sit up here and be honest, I know I lost a lot of people. My mother is gone. Two very good friends of mine are gone. And my daughter's father is gone. And that's just my immediate circle of people. But I've lost a hell of a lot more people than that. And it seemed as if they died suddenly. I don't want to frighten anybody, because if you've lived more than 2 years, then I'm pretty sure you're okay. Most of these people passed away in less than 3 years of taking the COVID shot. The ones who all passed away. They all passed away. This is the thing. They all passed away between 2020, early 2023, and early 2024. This is when they all back to back. In 1 year, I lost 4 people. And like I said, it was strange circumstances. So when I say strange circumstances, I mean suddenly heart failure, kidney failure, stroke. One of my friends, she had beaten cancer 4 times. 4 times, and she was doing good. She told me she had done an experimental treatment and it worked. What they did is they erased her entire system. She said they gave her a completely new slate, meaning all of her blood was, she had all of her blood and everything was new. They regenerated everything, and she was doing good. This was an experimental treatment they had done for her cancer, and it worked. But check this out. This is what the doctor told her. The doctor told her that because she had gotten a new slate, that she needed to get updated on all of her vaccines from birth all the way to the present. And that included the 2 boosters of the COVID vaccine. So I told her, I said, please don't take it. I said it's going to take you down. Don't do it. And she didn't listen to me. Months later, she was gone. Just like that, And y'all, could you imagine how many shots what kind of doctor would tell a person they need to take? I mean, she had to take something like between 30 and 50 shots, y'all. Back to back to back. Maybe more. That's enough to take anybody out. But, I'm just saying. This all to piss everybody off. Everybody in the whole Democratic Party. What they did with that whole COVID situation, y'all, is worse than what this animal in office has done. They caused the deaths of millions of people. They said that COVID itself killed 1 million Americans, but the vaccine killed millions more people. They said something like 73% of all those deaths within those 2 or 3 years were COVID deaths. They knew it, and they said that it was something with there were some kind of signs that they knew or something they saw when, I guess, doing the autopsies on these individuals. Some common denominator, y'all. So, if you are vaccinated, this is my advice to you. You need to get a complete workup. You need to make sure that your brain, check to make sure that you are not at any risk for heart attack or stroke. You need to, have your kidneys checked out. Make sure all of your internal organs, everything is functioning the way it should be. And you need to keep up with that. You need to keep checking on that. There's something else that I have noticed with the whole COVID situation is that a lot of people who did get vaccinated, they have what you call long COVID. They never recover from COVID. They're sick every day. But they don't get the full extent of it. But just imagine, sick every day, waking up with COVID symptoms every day is what a lot of people are experiencing. That's just something I wanted to talk about, y'all. You know, take care of yourself, family. Be blessed, and let's continue to pray for our enemies to die. Well, let's not say that word, but to be destroyed. And that's both in the Democrat Party and the Republican Party, all evil, all corruption, y'all, in our government. We want them all gone. Shalom.